We can take a look at CRM. This is at least an interesting monthly candlestick, which is this going to close bullish, bearish, or neutral? It's a good question to ask yourself. Actually, this has a lot of price history, so it very well makes sense to look at our quarterly as our high time frame. This is going to be interesting from a quarterly perspective because we actually saw quite a wick down. But if we are specifically going to close back above, I would say the low of last quarter, then at least this quarter, even though we went very low, actually just ends up closing as a neutral candlestick. If we're not going to close, that is below 249.84. So I would say that is an important level at the end of the month to close back above, to give this really some conviction that, well, maybe we are going to trend back to the upside. And in the bigger picture, again, I can go to my log scale. Where could this potentially go to? Well, if this is going to break above its all-time high, this would be a very good example of just a chart that is in price discovery. So that would have potential to run to the 1618, 1272 extensions at least. So that would give potential to 398.57 and 544.79. At least that is that is a chart that is looking decent. Well, more than decent. In its whole entire price history has basically been trending up. Now, this is a very interesting quarterly. I would really emphasize the importance, I would say, of closing above 249.84 this month. If we are not going to close above that, let's see what would that mean on the daily time frame, right? So quarterly levels, we can go to the daily time frame to further elaborate. I can mark out here also where the next quarter starts. That's July 1st, so that is essentially next week. We should not be closing anymore, and it also does not look like we are going to, but still we only know for sure when it actually does close. We wouldn't want to close anymore below 249.84. So I'm going to quickly just redraw these levels, the low of last quarter. Also want to keep in mind the high of this candlestick because that is the bottom end of the fair value gap. Want to keep in mind the previous all-time high and then further elaborate from there. So this exact level, that 249, I want to highlight that one as an important one to close above, like I said, at the end of the month. That also means, right, I know that that is a very important level to close above. That is actually last quarterly low. So on a daily time frame here, this would seem like a level that if we are going to close indeed above it, this looks good to me. To the point where, yeah, that is something that has been trading in a high time frame uptrend. So potentially, if we get a nice bullish close above 249, a good option here would be for price to essentially then get back below 249.84, make a higher low there, close back above, and essentially treating this as an uptrend again, where we're making low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. So being open to the possibility at least that this is going to form another higher low, and then basically trading this into that previous main swing point, 311.75, with the perspective actually, and this is a very good chart because it is, for example, right, in earlier stages than something like MU, where MU has by this point broken out previous all-time high, has ran to the 1618. At this point, it's not, I'm not saying that's cooked, it's probably still at some point going higher, but that's reached some impulsive targets. This is something with really a lot of potential. So I like the idea of playing from that 249.84 level. Get below it, close back above it, and then we take a position from there. And I'm looking for, well, I'm actually going to kind of mark that out a little bit. And what I often also have elaborated on frequently is using that long position tool, or that if you are playing both sides of the market, using that short position tool to kind of see how that would look. So getting back into 249.84, really, I think something like this, right, would be approximately what I'm aiming for. It all depends on where I'm going to close back above. So that might very well be something like this. But essentially, right, this is going to be a key pivot to play from me. Last quarterly low, get back below it. In the next 3 months, get back above it, and then do something like this, like I said. So on the move below, nothing to do until then we close back above that 249.84.
What time frame for that candlestick?
Let's see. So these are quarterly levels. So 3 time frames lower is the daily. So that would be a daily candlestick close back above 249.84 after first going below. So also that would really just mean we end up taking out anybody with a liquidation below 250 and then we close back above it. So trapping breakout traders with stop losses, liquidations below 250, then closing a daily back above. And I would say, right, the stop loss for this, at least for now, I would say we can put that on this low. So if it's going to look like, yeah, we're coming back there, we can always close it earlier. But this would be really the position that I'm looking at, targeting 311.75, so that prior main swing point, and having a stop loss below 227.77. That would be the stop loss and the target for that trade. And the entry criterion is then, yeah, indeed the daily candle close back above that 249.84. If this is going to draw down lower, though, we'll have to reassess. But for now, that's going to be essentially the only option that I have for this. If it does something else, I'll also put that on my watch list, by the way. This is a chart. Really, thank you for the recommendation. Also, Snapchat also a very, very good one. So I love it when this is an interactive process of you guys are also looking at the tickers that I have not necessarily seen myself. And this is how it very, very often goes. A lot of these stickers on my watch list, I only really got acquainted with them over the years because people are pointing their attention to it.